It all began with a smile. Not the warm, spontaneous kind. This one was polished, practiced, and perfectly timed. Meghan Markle knew what she was doing the moment she brought Jamie Kern Lima onto her podcast. On the surface, it looked like a power move. Two self-made women, sharing stories, inspiring the masses. Jamie, a billionaire entrepreneur, a symbol of grit and authenticity, was supposed to give Meghan's brand a dose of credibility. But what really unfolded behind the scenes is where the entire illusion begins to fall apart. According to Jamie, what the world saw wasn't a conversation, it was a production. Meghan's team didn't just offer guidelines or topics, they delivered a script. Emotional beats were choreographed. Vulnerable pauses, sighs, even teary-eyed glances were timed and rehearsed. There were requests for certain camera angles, lighting that would catch just the right shimmer in Meghan's eyes, and a narrative crafted to look spontaneous, but wasn't. But the real twist, it came when the cameras stopped rolling. That soft-spoken, wounded Duchess persona vanished in seconds. Jamie says Meghan's tone flipped like a switch, detached, cold, and commanding. The transformation was so stark, so unnatural, it left Jamie shaken. She didn't speak about it at first, but months later, when the episode aired and fans flooded her with praise about Meghan's realness, Jamie couldn't take it anymore. She didn't leak it to tabloids. She went to her own podcast, the very one Meghan had appeared on, and told her truth. Calmly, clearly, brutally. She said it was fake. Every emotion, every silence, every crack in Meghan's voice was part of a carefully constructed performance. Nothing authentic, nothing raw, and the fallout, immediate. People weren't just shocked, they felt duped. Because Meghan had built her brand on truth, on pain, on being the misunderstood outsider who bravely told her story. Now, that story looked more like a marketing strategy. Meghan had monetized her trauma, packaged her vulnerability, and sold it to the public like a product. And Jamie Kern Lima, the embodiment of sincerity, was calling it out. And she didn't stop there. When Meghan's team allegedly tried to pressure Jamie to retract her statements, to pull the podcast or issue a correction, Jamie didn't budge. In fact, she promised more: receipts, raw audio, behind-the-scenes details. Hollywood suddenly snapped to attention. This wasn't petty celebrity gossip. This was a PR disaster unfolding in real time. For years, Meghan's value to studios, brands, and media outlets wasn't just in her royal title. It was in her relatability. She was supposed to be the underdog who fought back. Now she was being painted as a master manipulator, someone who staged her emotions, directed her own victimhood, and used other women's platforms as props. Behind closed doors, the panic was real. Meghan's team scrambled to contain the damage. This wasn't a British tabloid smear job. This was Jamie Kern Lima, respected, credible, and with absolutely nothing to gain by lying. Her reputation had always been built on truth. If she said Meghan faked it, people listened, and they believed her. Worse, the timing couldn't have been more disastrous. Meghan was already trying to rebrand herself. Soft wellness, positivity, spiritual healing, a gentle pivot toward Oprah's lane. But Oprah, who had once given Meghan her biggest platform, was now conspicuously silent. No public support, no statements. And behind the scenes, rumors swirled. That Oprah's inner circle had distanced itself. That Meghan had been quietly left off the invite list for an exclusive Montecito dinner. A small sign, but a powerful one. In Hollywood, exclusion speaks louder than scandal. Meanwhile, brands were pulling back. A luxury fashion house reportedly froze a campaign featuring Meghan. PR firms started whispering, "Can we still trust her?" The word manipulative was trending, and no brand wants to get caught in the crossfire. Even Netflix, still reeling from her underperforming projects, began re-evaluating. Her Spotify deal was already dead. Now Netflix looked shaky too. What made it worse was the pattern. People started looking back. Her podcast archetypes? Panned for lacking depth? The Oprah interview? Suspiciously well-scripted. The public speeches, the docuseries, even her wedding speech, once hailed as emotional, now seemed overly rehearsed. Like every role she played, every tear she shed, was a scene from a narrative carefully written in advance. The public wasn't angry. They were heartbroken, disappointed. One viral comment said it best. "I defended Meghan for years. I believed her. Now I feel played." That was the mood, not outrage, betrayal. And Jaime? She wasn't done. She teased the release of raw audio, unedited, unscripted moments from that now infamous podcast episode. "This isn't about tearing someone down," she said calmly. "It's about truth. And I still have the tapes." That line broke the internet. TikTok exploded. Reddit lit up. People wanted to know what Meghan said when she didn't know the world was still listening. Insiders say Meghan's camp is in full crisis mode. Legal teams, PR spin, damage control at every level, desperate calls to partners. But it may be too late. Because this scandal isn't just damaging, it's existential. Her brand wasn't built on power. It was built on pain, real, raw, authentic pain. And if that turns out to have been manufactured, the entire house of cards collapses. Even her charity, Archewell, isn't safe. Donors are asking questions. Are the stories real? Are the numbers inflated? Is the impact genuine or just another curated illusion? One former sponsor reportedly pulled funding, citing concerns about transparency. The consequences are no longer reputational, they're financial. If Dior pulls back, if Netflix bails, Meghan's empire, which already took a hit after the Spotify debacle, could crumble completely. And in the center of this storm stands Jamie Kern Lima. Not angry, not vengeful, just done, exhausted. She said she stayed quiet for too long, watching people be inspired by a version of Meghan that wasn't real. And when the praise came pouring in, she realized she couldn't be part of the lie anymore. That's what makes her voice so powerful. She wasn't trying to destroy anyone. She was trying to reclaim honesty. And when that's your motive, people listen. The question now isn't just whether Meghan lied, it's whether the entire persona she built was always a performance. And if it was, if the emotions were scripted, the pain rehearsed, then how can she ever win back the public's trust? One final name keeps coming up in whispers: Oprah. Her silence has become deafening, because if Oprah was fooled, if she was manipulated into lending her platform to a narrative that wasn't real, then who else has been? And that's where the story twists from scandal to cultural reckoning. If Meghan Markle, the woman who made truth her brand, wasn't being truthful at all, then the fallout won't stop at her. It will ripple through every project she's touched, every brand she's endorsed, and every person who vouched for her along the way. Because in the court of public opinion, once you're caught faking vulnerability, there's no script that can save you. And this time, Meghan isn't the one holding the mic.